Hey everybody, Chris here. In this video, we're going to be looking at a Dogecoin turnaround as well as news of the day, which could change the way the markets are going. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when my videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. And on the Tuesday evening live stream, we saw green. That's right, green candles. We were having some fun as well. The chat was excited. It was good to see. It's been a little while. Yeah, the first 5 or 6 days of 2026 were green days, but then we had 7 consecutive red days for Dogecoin, and it's been a tough slog, but a big green red candle for yesterday. How do things look today? Let's get into it. Let me show you the charts and the news. I'll show you what I'm looking at. And we start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart, 1464. That's right, 1464. This is what we were watching yesterday. We saw the big green candle up. We were live for that. Came all the way up to about 1510 or so before the momentum kind of stalled out there and drifted sideways, and early this morning a little bit down. But overall, this was a big move for Doge. We were watching blues like charts and looking at this W pattern. It did play out, and we had a nice move up. And then as we zoom out on the daily chart, we do have this cup and handle. We were looking to see if we could get 15.4 and complete the handle, and that did not happen. It was close. I think some people are still drawing it and saying, yeah, close enough. But that's how these patterns go. That's how these patterns go. On Bitcoin, we did reclaim 94,000. Came back retest. So 94,000 again, a price we haven't seen a daily close on. Well, this was back since November, middle of November. So that's 2 months ago. We hit 94K a few times as resistance and finally moved above it, come back and retest as support. That would be strong if Bitcoin can move up from here and not fade back below 94K. So we'll be watching this during our next live stream, which will be Wednesday afternoon, 4 p.m. East Coast time. Make sure you subscribe, you got your notifications on, join in as well, so we can explore more things going on. We do check in on things like gold, because gold did hit a new all-time high here last night, another all-time high for gold. And then we also had, that's right, silver. We saw silver hit a new all-time high as well, $91.50, and that was last night as well. So precious metals are still trading well. Money's still going into precious metals, and I talked about that on X. If you don't follow me on X, I am at ChrisPax. So join in on the fun over there when I'm not here on YouTube. I did post about silver this morning, hitting a new all-time high and why it's running. So you can check that post on X. I also talk about what's going on with the Senate Banking Committee and the crypto market structure bill, not a Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill, because it doesn't say Bitcoin anywhere. And then we also have the US Fed releasing PPI data today at 8:30 East Coast time. So I'm recording this before that data comes out. Expect volatility. I don't think so. I think it's mainly going to be largely priced in. We're going to be right in this middle range, and it's going to be a big nothing burger. I think the bigger thing today, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a second. Let's look at the overall crypto market, right? Mostly green, and that green is mostly because of yesterday's big move. Once we get past 6 o'clock today, all of these are going to be red. And we're going to be looking at that during the live stream. Because, why? Because we had this big run, right? We had the big run that happened right in that time frame. I guess probably about 5:30 or so, we're going to see them all turn red after that big green candle. Because most likely we're going to be below that, and the crypto bubbles will turn red. But they're mostly green right now, which is good. Here's Doge, 5.3% up the last 24 hours. This is just based on a 24-hour period. So that is the status of the market. What else is happening today? Well, is the Supreme Court going to rule for Trump in favor of the Trump tariffs? About a 29% chance on Polymarket, which means there's a 70% chance that he's not going to rule in favor. But that doesn't mean the Supreme Court is going to rule against, because also in that 70% would be, what I think is going to happen, is the court's going to kick it back down to the Court of Appeals, like the lower court. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think they're really going to say a firm yes or no. It's going to be something else. We'll see how that goes. Could that cause volatility in the markets? Sure it could. But some are saying it actually would be good for the markets because a lot of investors think the tariffs are bad, right? Because it raises prices, right? Puts more pressure on our spending because a lot of those tariffs get passed down to the consumer. But I think it's going to be more uncertainty. The markets don't like uncertainty, so volatility and the uncertainty would cause markets to go down. But we will be watching that. We do have the overall crypto fear and greed index up into neutral now. So after yesterday's move up, we got out of fear. We are now in neutral. So that's good. That's good. We're getting some positivity in the markets. Silver exploding. We talked about that. Vivek says Bitcoin is about to go parabolic, though, and you see that divergence. And we've seen it before, the M2 money supply, right? Gold and now silver as well. Big divergence between them. And that just means, money isn't flowing into Bitcoin, right? The money's going into silver. And again, I explained over on my post on X this morning why I think silver has been having this big run. And it's not Bitcoin. It's not Bitcoin right now, and it's not about to go parabolic. I don't think Bitcoin's going parabolic. Bitcoin is deleveraging, a guy or the team at Coin Bureau says, right? Open interest is down, mostly because of the October 10th, the market crash, the flash crash, wiped out all those leveraged traders, and in that volume, they're not coming back, but they still are trading. That we'll look at the heat map in just a minute. So there is a lot of leverage trading still going on, which does move the markets. But after October 10th, that really changed. Retail interest in crypto remains insanely low, Crypto Rover says, insanely low. This is not where the interest is right now in crypto. So if you're still here, much respect, yes. But at the moment, we like to think about this big turnaround, but it's just not showing in the interest in crypto. So we'll be watching that as well. Jell says major Bitcoin ascending triangle breakout, right? There's that 94K line, right? Does this mean we bounce off and we have a big run up? Satoshi Flipper, same thing. Do we think, another view of this upward channel, we break 94K and then we have a big green arrow up? Is this what's in the cards? Bitcoin accumulation officially over. Remember the plan from 70 to 140 to 280. So there's a lot of bullishness, right? All these posts, right? One after another, mostly because those are the ones that get the views and the clicks, right? That's what a lot of these guys do on X. And I'm like, the heat map here for Bitcoin, look what happened, right? We have the run up yesterday, take out a bunch of shorts, and guess what starts accumulating? All these new long leverage trades. Look at this big yellow band here, 93.3, hundreds of millions of dollars. That is all in play. I think we're going to be dipping down in the turnaround instead of going higher. Unfortunately, is bearish in my point of view, and we're going to be going down and we're going to be liquidating these leverage longs. So we can look at the Dogecoin 3-day heat map as well, which we often do during live streams as well. There are some new shorts that came in as soon as there was that big spike in Dogecoin's price. What do we see? We see shorts enter the market, and these shorts are probably going to be winning. I don't know if we're going to get up to 15.3, 15.4 to take out all of these shorts for Dogecoin. They're piling up on the long side. Unfortunately, that's the turnaround I'm looking at. Our friend who does the Dogecoin Fear and Greed Index account on X has been posting again. And it looks like because of yesterday's little pump, we on Dogecoin, we actually went from neutral just into the greed, barely into the greed line, which was based on that spike. But you know, because of the heat maps, we do have a lot of the bears here. We got shorts. So, and some new leverage traders were coming in, buying the move up and saying, I'm going to jump on board, right? And I think Doge is going higher. Some of them are already getting wrecked this morning. We're already seeing some of those liquidations happen here. Overall, Doge jumped nearly 9%. Buyers push price out of recent downtrend, which is a good start, right? A good start on a recovery. You know, the rebound we were talking about yesterday, but I still think it's kind of short-lived. The Clarity Act doesn't reference Dogecoin directly, because it doesn't reference Bitcoin directly, but it does reference that the legal status of cryptos, non-ancillary assets exempt from the SEC securities rules if they were in an ETP or ETF, but it's really exchange-traded product, right? Not a fund, but a product. So it's technically an ETP by January 1st, of which Dogecoin was one of them. So that's good for Dogecoin, meaning they're not going to be under the SEC. They're going to go over to the CFTC, which is better for those crypto assets and the regulations that the SEC would put on them if they were securities. So that is good for Doge. That's not going to move the market anything. And in fact, this whole Clarity Act, as I talked about this morning, again on a post here on X, that the banking committee members have submitted 137 amendments. Coinbase is pushing back because there being limits placed on earning any stablecoin yield, which is what people want. Right? Investors want, if they're going to be holding stablecoins, they want to earn some interest on that. And right now, the crypto market structure bill is saying no yield on stables. So that puts the bill at risk. It might get further delayed instead of being passed. So I think this is just going to be something that kicks the can down the road. So that's the latest. Again, we'll be following up all this on the live stream. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about Dogecoin turnaround? Was this green little euphoric run we had yesterday, was that an anomaly, or is that the start of something bigger, or is the turnaround going to come back and we're going to be fighting the dreaded brown box again at 14 cents? Let me know in the comments. Give the video a like. And again, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.